Well, hello everyone. We are here right before Christmas. We are getting close to Scion season. A lot of our apple trees have already went dormant. The stone fruits are peaches, plums, nectarines, blueberries, plum cots are almost all dormant. So we're already starting to pre-sell Scion wood through our website and our Etsy store. So if you need any, be sure to get on that quick. But that's not what this video is about. This video is about showing you that may not know what Scion wood is and what the difference is in quality Scion wood and Scion wood that you'd prefer not to use. Now, Scion wood, for anyone who does not know, is the type of wood that we would use for grafting a tree. Apple trees, in case you don't know, are almost, not all, but are almost primarily 100% grafted trees. And that means that we take a rootstock, and it's an apple type rootstock, but it's not a desirable apple. You wouldn't want to grow it out and let it fruit. But we take a rootstock and we take that rootstock and we cut it off generally right around 6 to 8 inches above ground level. You can go higher and get more effect from the rootstock, or you can go a little shorter. I don't like them much shorter than 6 inches from ground, because by the time I mulch, the mulch ends up too close to the graft union for my taste. So anyway, we graft that, and the Scion wood is the variety you want. Let me see if I can find a tag on this tree right here. Yes, I see it. Say this tree here is, see if y'all can see this. This is the tags we use. You probably can't see the label. That's a Mutsu. Mutsu, I think, is the technical pronunciation, but at this point in my life, I've pronounced it Mutsu so much that it's probably going to be a Mutsu from now on. But I think it's technically a Mutsu. Now, you can see here, this tree has not quite went dormant yet. We've had a really warm fall and winter, and so far, and these trees have hung on to some leaves. I mean, this one's still putting off new growth. I mean, this is growing. This tip of this would not be any good for Scion wood. What we're looking for is back here into, if I can get you in here, this is what we're looking for, this hardened wood. We don't want anything that's soft. So now this one is hardened off all the way to the tip. And we got nice tight bud spacing. See, we got a bud here, 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 and here. That would make an excellent piece of Scion wood. Now, what I'm doing today is I'm out here, sorry about the sun, I'm out here trying to get an estimation on what we have for Scion wood, so I can start listing some more of this. The only thing we've listed so far is the varieties that we know we got tons of. There's some trees that we know produce tons of Scion wood every year. They look healthy, everything's strong. We had a very low fruit year, so the trees that are not deer damaged will have plenty of Scion wood. So there's some varieties that we know we have a lot of. We got a Macintosh tree that puts off 1,000 pieces of Scion wood a year off of that tree. It's a vigorous grower. Now, once it starts to fruit really, really heavy, that growth will slow down on that tree. So we'll get less Scion wood off of it. Right now, that tree produces tons and tons and tons of Scion wood. And just to show you, this is the tree I'm talking about. And I have trouble controlling this tree. I'm going to say we got, without handicapping the tree, I can pull an easy $300 to $400, $300 to 400 pieces of Scion wood off that tree. We'll probably go in the beginning and pull about 100 pieces off. Macintosh isn't the biggest seller, but we sell a lot of it. So we'll probably pull about 100 pieces off that tree. I got some limbs that need to come out of that tree when I prune this year. That's another video. We'll talk about that later. So, and I don't carry a tape measure with me when I do this. Let me just give you, let me show you here. So, right here is a, I don't know if this has got a tag on it, so I won't tell you what variety it is. It's a stone fruit. This is a peach, if I'm not mistaken. And this could be our elephant heart. Plum. No, it's a peach. I'm not sure. So anyway, variety doesn't matter. My fingers, from the tip of my thumb, if I spread them like this, and the tip of my pinky, is almost exactly 8 inches. And how you find that out is you take a tape measure and spread your fingers out and tell. Our Scion wood pieces are 6 to 8 inches long. So I can take like this right here while I'm checking Scion wood and lay my hand up there and know I got 2 pieces of Scion wood on that one branch. So I can start doing some estimations on this tree and tell you what I've got. Now, stuff like this has to come out of the tree anyway. So it's a great choice, vigorous, upright grower for Scion wood. So that'll be Scion wood, and that's 1, 2, 3. I got 3 pieces of Scion wood right there. You know, some of these other ones, this one over here's probably got 4 on it. So, you know, I can start doing estimations on my Scion wood count, stay on the conservative side, and so I can look at this tree and tell you I'm gonna have 100 pieces of Scion wood on this, whatever this tree is. I gotta pull my books out since this one hasn't got a permanent tag yet, evidently. So I'm gonna have 100 pieces of Scion wood off that tree. Nice to know. Show you something kind of cool we like around here. Oh, let me get the camera up where you can see it. You see that right there? That is a praying mantis egg sac. And there'll be hundreds of praying mantis hatch out of that. We use no chemical sprays on our farm. We absolutely do not want to consume chemicals, and so we don't use chemical sprays. Yes, that does mean we end up bug bites and bug damage on our apples, and it's not that we don't spray. It's just that we don't spray chemicals. We spray stuff that is organic approved, and then we are very conservative on how much of that we use. We don't believe that that's good for us, and so we avoid it. And you know, even these young trees right here, I've got, I think, a blue pearmain. Yep, I've got a blue pearmain right here. This blue pearmain should produce some good fruit this year, but I've still got like this limb here. This whole limb has to come out. It's growing straight up, competing with my central leader. It's wrong angle. Same thing here. I've got another one up here. It's got to come out. So, you know, I'll have half a dozen pieces of blue pearmain off this little bitty tree that's not even that old. So it gives you the ability to help others produce some of these rare varieties and enjoy them as much as you do. You know, it's a passion. And right here, this old Stark is a vigorous grower. It's not that old of a tree. It's on a G935 rootstock, but I can look at this right here and tell you that I've got a good 50, maybe even, might even squeeze 75 to 100 pieces of Scion wood out of that tree. And it's not even that big of a tree. So, we produce apples, but we also produce Scion wood. That's part of our production around here. It's part of how we pay our bills. So that Scion wood has to be there every year. Not every variety is available every year. It depends upon my pruning technique for the year, what I'm trying to accomplish with the tree, and so on and so forth. So, you know, just because we have the variety don't mean that every year we have the Scion wood for that variety, because it may be a tip bear, and I may do minimal pruning on that tree that year in order for production to be up. But the next year I may have to do heavy pruning on that tree. St. Edmunds russet is one of the ones we always list early. I've got several of these trees, and they're pretty darn good growers and an amazing apple. We love it. So we always have a little bit of scion wood. Like right now, I've got a tree right there, St. Edmunds russet, that's got it's got 4 tops in the tree. Now, that's absolutely can't do it. I can't have that. So 2 of those looks like at least one of those I can tie down, so I will. I'll tie that one down next spring, and it'll become a scaffold limb for me. But I got one of those for sure that has to come out. I may leave the other one partially for this year for fruit production. And then I've got to come down here on the tree. I've got a scaffold here where I've got no limbs. So I'm gonna have to notch this at a bud like right there next year so that it will push me out a limb, because I need a limb there. Tree don't know I need a limb there, but I know I need a limb there. So anyway, not a long video, not a lot to talk about. I do want to show you though, let me find an example of scion wood that you would not want to use. Whether it's diseased or damaged or lots of reasons why you wouldn't want to use it, but let me try to show you some stuff. And you're looking for, on scion wood, you're normally looking for last year's vigorous growth. Right here's a prime example. If you come right down here, you will see where I pruned this last year. So everything from there to the tip is last year's growth. So this tree put on, I'm gonna use my hand here, like I said, to measure. So we got 8, 16, about 20 inches of growth, so nearly 2 feet of growth. And really I'm looking for 18 inches of growth on the most vigorous limbs. If I get much more than that, it really just means that you had too much wood going on and not enough fruit. Now we had a bad fruit year, so you're going to see that on some of these that I've got more than 2 feet, and that's because of lack of fruit. I've got right here, I've got one 8, 16, 24. Yeah, I'm close to 30 inches on that one, which is way excessive. And I got another one here, 8, 16, 24, and that one's going nearly 32 inches. So, you know, it's I'm gonna pick up this beehive cap that's got blown off evidently in the wind. There's no bees in the hive, but I need leaving the hive sitting there open. So here we have a peach, and on this peach, I must turn where you all can get out of the sun. On this peach right here, you can see my last year's cut, and so everything here is new growth. I didn't fertilize these trees this year at all because they didn't need it with no fruit production hardly. And right here we have a good example of, I've cut this off to a nub right here, hoping for it to grow out a new limb, and it has. So I have a new limb, and that's the extreme of the growth. That has put on 4 feet of growth this year. Now here's a great example. This is probably damage from a lawnmower, being where it's at. The lawnmower has a rack on it in case you roll over. It's rollover protection. They call it ROPS. But you see this damage. This would allow, this will be pruned off when I do my winter pruning. This would allow disease to get into the tree. So we would never want to sell a piece of scion wood off of this. I will actually come back here and stub this limb right here this year. Yeah, or I may actually come down here and bring this limb back to here and let it start growing a new one this year. You want to do some renewal cuts on your trees from time to time to keep fresh wood on those trees. These, the one I was just showing you, this is our Tiff's peach. These were grown from seed, so they're ours. They're nothing exact. Right here you got a prime example of where I got careless and I have broke a limb. Let's see if I can get you in there. I have broke a limb with the tractor, so I will be cutting that out this year. Yeah. Not ideal, but it's not a big deal. The tractor got it. Our small mower was down, so some of the spots that I would have mowed with our little mower, I had to mow with the John Deere 1025R. That's a workhorse around here. It's an amazing tractor, but it's a little bit large for some of these places in the orchard. But our little mower was down, and we just really couldn't justify the expense this year. Hoping next year to have a new one. But those Tiff's peach are amazing peach, and we sell a lot of Scion wood off those, and we really enjoy them. We're hoping for a good crop this year. But let's see if I can show you another. Really try to watch our trees, so sorry, excuse me. There's not a lot of stuff that I would have laying around. To show you, but I'm sure we look here for a moment. Let's see. Now, you get into something like this. You see this little small growth. You can graft that, but your success rate gets lower. You really need something at least this size. Pencil size is ideal. Maybe just a little bit smaller. I actually probably prefer to work with a little bit smaller than pencil size, but somewhere right around pencil size is ideal. That's a great size to work with. But anyway, hopefully we showed you something there. Hopefully you learned something. If you got any questions or comments, be sure to leave them below. We try to answer absolutely every question that comes in. And yeah, here I have a prime example of how nice our winter has been. This is a plum. We've got nice green growth still on that. And that's where I've cut this tree back this year and did some grafting onto it. And so we did some pruning of the branches out that we didn't want. And so it has continued to grow because it's got a lot of energy in the root system. But it should go dormant here shortly with the cold weather we've been having. And we've got some low 20s again this week. So prime example over my shoulder here. Plenty of Scion wood on that plum. So anyway, hope y'all have enjoyed. Thank you. God bless you and have a Merry Christmas.